Everyone deals with death differently, and the murder of John Lennon highlighted all of the Beatles' differing personalities. The only Beatle available for interview in the immediate aftermath was Paul.
I was very shocked, it's terrible news.
How did you find out about it?
I got a phone call this morning.
From whom?
From a friend of mine.
Are you planning to go before the funeral?
I don't know yet.
Have you discussed the death with any of the other Beatles?
No.
Do you plan to?
Probably, yeah.
What were you recording today?
I was just listening to some stuff, I just didn't want to sit at home.
Why?
Oh, I didn't feel like it.
What time did you hear the news?
This morning sometime.
Very early?
Yeah. Go now, yeah? Drag, isn't it? Okay, cheers. Bye-bye.
Guys.
A drag isn't how the world will see it, nor can there ever be any more talk of the Beatles getting together again.
Paul had unwisely spoken to reporters camped outside of George Martin's Air Studios in central London, desperate for any Beatle comment. However, Paul's private reaction was very different from his public one, as he explained in an interview in 1985.
Obviously, I was probably more shattered than most people when John died. And I had plenty of sort of personal grief. But I'm not very good at kind of public grief. So someone thrust a microphone into my face on the day it happened and said, what's your comment? Now, all the other pundits came out with great comments. Well, John will be sorely missed, and he's so-and-so. They summed it up. All I could muster was it's a drag. And it was I couldn't say anything else but that. I just couldn't. Nor could George, nor could Ringo. Nobody came out with any big comments because he was too dear to us. It was just too much a shock. Yeah. But of course, then that got reprinted. McCartney, when asked what he thought of Lennon's death, said, "It's a drag." And it comes out like that, and so you've just got to be so careful about all that stuff.
George had a more philosophical take.
And, it's hard to accept or to believe at first, but, it's no different really to anybody having news about anybody they know. The shock, I'm sure a lot of people were just as shocked as I was about John Lennon or about, your Prime Minister for that matter. It's all nasty business when people get shot.
But afterwards you say that it hasn't really changed your life. Or
it hasn't, because if we'd have still been in a working relationship, it would have changed it more. The thing is, I hadn't seen him for so long. For all I know, he could still be there now, because I didn't see him for 2 years anyway. And occasionally maybe he'd send a postcard.
Yeah.
And it's knowing that he's on the other end of a telephone if you do on a call. That's the difference. Now, you need the big cosmic telephone to speak to him. But, I believe in, I just believe in, that life goes on, And so to me, I can't get sad.
The only Beatle to have dropped everything and fly to New York to visit Yoko and Sean was Ringo.
One of the first visitors this morning to the Lennon apartment was another former Beatle, Ringo Starr, who'd flown here from Europe after hearing the news. He was taken through a side entrance to avoid the crowds.
Ringo also expressed his grief publicly.
To me personally, you'll have to ask the other two.
For people...
Isn't it funny when you say that now?
Yes.
It's so new to me that I always sort of, it clogs you up a bit when you say, because you're so glib saying, we'll ask the other three. Now we can only ask two, which is dragging its way, but I'm sure he's okay. I'm really sad. I still miss John a great deal. I'll always miss him, but it's still brand new.
When you heard about, how did you hear about it?
Barbara's daughter called us up saying John's been shot, and so that drove me crazy. But you think he's been shot, he's shot in the arm, shot in the leg. And then they came back and they said he's dead. Do you want to stop that now?
No.
Because it doesn't help, but it always gets me upset. Right now.
But it would be amazing if you did.
Yeah, well, he was a great friend.
Tell us about the good time. When did you see him last, and what was it like?
I saw him on the 15th of November.
Both Paul and George had decided to lose themselves in their music in the following day after John's murder. Paul had been recording Rain Clouds together with George Martin and Geoff Emerick. Meanwhile, somewhere in England, George was also in a recording studio working on Blood from a Clone, a savage attack on the state of the music industry. One of the musicians on that session, Ray Cooper, recorded how George thought trying to make music would be more therapeutic than him sitting around and being besieged by press and God knows what else. In an interview only 3 months before John's death, he prophetically considered how he might be remembered.
If I was dead, they wouldn't be angry at me. If I'd conveniently died in the mid-70s after a rock and roll album or Walls and Bridges, and they'd all be writing this worshipful stuff about what a great guy, and and wasn't he funny with a clamp axe on his head? All that stuff, like it's all right when you're dead, you see. And they'd all be saying, oh, what a great guy and wonderful, wonderful and that. But I didn't die, so that infuriated everybody that I would live and do what I want to do, which is look after me and the family.